have a very spooky story for you that happened, I want to say about 2.5, 3 years ago when I was living out in Cocoa. So I'm going to give you the backstory first, and then I'm going to go ahead and jump into the main story. Now this story is unlike anything I've ever experienced before in my entire life. Definitely, I want to say it could have been a poltergeist. Could have been a dark shadow man. I don't know what this thing was, but it followed me for quite some time. It seems like the more I explain the story, the easier the story is to tell. People need to realize, you know, these situations are real. You know, they happen to people all the time on a regular basis, and nobody really steps up and talks about it. Or when they do talk about it, they're often ridiculed, or they don't really know how to explain it, or they often feel crazy because they're like, there's nothing there. Like, you don't see anything, but you know that there's something there because, you know, ghosts and entities and demonic things, they're all around us and we just don't realize it. Often, if you don't see something, people shrug it off like, oh, if I can't see it, I can't feel it, I can't touch it, it's not real. This poltergeist made himself known and was very much real. Very much real. The backstory was, I was living out in Titusville around this time, around this era. I was staying out in Titusville. And I recently was in a relationship where I was the side chick who became the main chick and then later became the side chick. It happens. And so I packed up all of his stuff and sent him on his way, knowing I couldn't afford the rent to live there on my own. And I was talking to my good friend Mia, and she was saying how, you know, she lived in her house, just her and her son, and she had a couple extra spare bedrooms, and that I could stay there and rent out a room until I could get on my feet and get a place that I can afford for just me and my little soldiers. So I went to Mia's house before I told my landlord about it or anything, and I was checking out Mia's house, and there was an energy there at her house. And I'd mentioned it to her, and she said, yeah, you know, she often feels like she's not alone in that house. She said that she feels that the house is haunted, that there's something there, weird things are always happening. I figured, okay, not a problem. I've lived with ghosts before. Half the time, if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. So that wasn't an issue for me. Not in the least, you know. I didn't know what was inside this house. You could just feel an energy, but at the time, it was daytime when I checked out the house, and every time I went over there to hang out, it was daytime, so there wasn't really like a lot of negative energy, but there was just an energy there that you could just feel, and very much so I couldn't communicate with it. It wouldn't talk to me, it wouldn't talk to my spirit guide, so I didn't know. All I knew is that it was a male presence that was at this house. That's all I could pick up on. No big deal. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes spirits and entities, they don't really want to be known, you know, they don't really want to communicate. They just want to mind their own business and go amongst their ghostly lives. And that's fine with me. Not a problem there, you know. Leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. We'll live kosher in the same house. You know, not a problem. But this entity became a problem. A big one. We're cleaning up the house, we're sweeping. It's my move-in day. Okay? It's my move-in day. And I'm so excited, and so we're running boxes back and forth, and we'd been at this like all day. So it was starting to get dark outside, and I was talking to my girlfriend Lindsay while I was getting something out of my trunk of my car, and Lindsay's standing like off to the side of me. And up behind Lindsay, I hear a man say, "Hey, hey," even louder. So I'm like who's hollering at me? It was a voice very unfamiliar to me. I'm thinking maybe we're being too loud for some of the neighbors in the cul-de-sac. And so this guy's like, "Hey, hey." And so I'm like, what? So I turn around, like, who is it? Like, I don't know. After I looked up and said, yeah, he like walked right past, because he was behind Lindsay, and he walked right past, like towards the house, towards the door that I'm supposed to be moving into, the side of the house right here. And then there's like a fence that runs across this way and then it connects to the neighbor's house. And this fence is full of like brush and like bushes and like all kinds of stuff. Like, you cannot jump this fence without making a noise. There's no way you could physically get over this fence and be completely unheard. It's impossible. And this tall man, this shadow figure, because when I looked up, I didn't see a face. I didn't see like clothing. Not that I saw a naked man standing there, but I just saw like a shadow figure. Tall, black, whole figure. Fingertips to feet to head, to the top of his head, just a black shadow that just walked past. And I'm like, where are you going? Like, hello, I'm about to move into this house. Who's this strange dude that just says, hey, hey. And then starts walking towards like my back half of the house where I'm moving into. So I start walking past Lindsay and I'm like, where are you going? And Lindsay's like, who? Like, who? Who are you talking to? So I walk around to the side of the building and I look and he's gone. Where'd he go? Didn't jump the fence. I opened my door. Though you didn't hear a door open, you didn't hear a door close. That door never opened. So I opened the door and I'm looking around. I'm like, where's this dude at? Where's this man? And everybody's looking at me like, what man? What dude? Like, nobody's here. Nobody's here. So I'm like, okay, nobody's here. Got you. Lindsay's like, do you want a drink? She offers me a shot real quick. Here, take a shot. I'm like, no, I'm good. I just saw a tall man who just seemed to vanish in thin air after clearly speaking to me, and nobody heard anything. I could do without a shot. I hadn't been drinking. I had been sober this entire time because I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to get all my stuff in, trying to get all my stuff done. And so my little soldiers were there and they were helping move stuff in and out of the house too. And this guy just vanished. So I'm like, okay, shrug it off. Don't think anything about it. Now, remember, this house still had like an energy. So it just kind of shifted the energy when I heard him. It shifted the energy. It was a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't so horribly uncomfortable that you were like, it wasn't like an intimidating uncomfortable. It was just kind of like, I was weird, so it like shifted the energy. So we're taking everything out of this back half of the house, putting it all in the storage unit in the shed. And I'm cleaning, like dusting, cobwebs, spider webs. I got the broom and I'm going up and down the wall with the broom and I'm hitting the corner ceilings and I'm getting all of it spotless. While I'm sweeping these walls and dusting, just sweeping the dust off and the cobwebs, I see this like little nail on the wall. And so I go to sweep that off, you know, and some feathers fall from it. That's a little odd. Why are feathers falling from this nail? I couldn't get over it. It didn't feel right. I can't put my finger on it, but I was like, this is awkward. So I continue sweeping, and on the other side of the wall, like right when you walk in, that side piece of the wall, there was like a little blue transparent, like little itty bitty tack. So because I didn't want to knock it out of the wall, and I didn't want it to fall on the floor for somebody to walk by and step on it, possibly get injured, I took the tack and I put it in my purse. So, you know, the night continues to go on and I run into Mia and I was like, hey, hun. And I explained to her the thing I just explained to you guys about how this is a little odd. These feathers, what's going on? And she says, oh, yeah, no. She said, this half of the house freaks me out because when I first moved in here, there was a dead bird hanging on the wall. I think they did some type of satanic ritual back here. You're going to tell me the day I move into this house that there may have been a potential satanic ritual that happened in this end of the house that I am currently, like within the room, I am currently about to occupy. Thanks, girl. Appreciate it. So that was, you know, definitely like some insight for me. And I'm like, okay, well, that explains like the energy shifting, you know, because it seems like as the night got darker, the energy there, it just grew stronger. Almost as if this thing was irritated that I was moving into its room. But at the same time, there was also a hint of curiosity. Now, I would say that curiosity was on both ends of the spectrum. I was curious about what was in the house, and it was curious about what I was doing in his house. So later that night, everything's going good. We get the bed put together. I'm still a little kind of like on edge, you know, about the feather thing and about the fact that this man had spoken to me. So my buddy Dan says, hey, do you want me to, you know, stay the night with you just to make sure everything's okay? It's your first night in this house. You seem a little off. And I said, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I would appreciate that. Thank you. So he volunteered to stay with me. And I'm so happy he did because I have a witness to everything that happened that night. We're laying there, we're sleeping, and I wake up because I feel something in the bed. Okay, well, my dog's at my mom's house because we're moving in and out, and I didn't want my dog to run away. It's a new area. I wanted to wait till I got everything inside the house. So my dog's at my mom's house. And my kids are sleeping in the living room. Everything was good. They took the couch until we got their bed and their area put together. And I'm laying in my bedroom that I had just gotten my bed set up in at Mia's place. And Mia doesn't have a cat. And Mia doesn't have a dog. So what's in bed with me? So I open my eyes and I roll over. And there's this shadow. It's like elongated like shadow. Just like in the bed. But the shadow took up like the whole corner of the wall. So where my bed was placed in this room is my bed was like cornered to the wall. That's where my bed was, like right in the corner. And so you have the walkway on this side, the walkway at the foot of the bed, and then the door at the end. And then there was a little window on this side. So the side of the bed where the bed's like long ways, there's a window on that side of the bed. And so I'm laying there and I'm seeing this like, I'm gonna go this way with it. So I'm seeing this like shadow on the wall that's like taking up the whole corner like this. But it's like in my bed. Black as night shadow. You couldn't see through the shadow. You couldn't see like the crease corner of the wall. So I'm looking and I'm like looking at the foot of the bed on this side and I'm like clear corner, clear corner. I look up over here, clear corner. Clear corner, clear corner, clear corner. But the corner that's like right against my bed is black with this huge shadow. Now I'm looking at this shadow and I'm watching it like leave the bed. Like the shadow's like moving up the wall and the shadow's getting smaller as it gets towards the corner. And then it gets smaller in the corner and then it just disappears. Just like that. So I'm like clear corner, clear corner, clear corner, clear corner. All of a sudden, the light that came in from the window allowed all of the corners to be shown, and this shadow was gone. I've never seen anything like that. You know, and I felt it move in the bed. It moved the bed. That's what woke me up. So I'm laying in bed, and have you guys ever seen a firefly? Like how their little butts glow like a little yellow color? So imagine that, like a little spot in the dark. But these were green. These were little green spots, little green lights. And it was like, here's the corner of the wall, and then here's the long wall where my bed's elongated. Foot of my bed is this way, wall's over here, window's right here, right? And there's like spots, like all over, little spots. And then there's like more spots. Then there's more spots. And then there's so many little green spots on this wall. And then they start like moving, kind of like flowing, twisting, turning. These little spots just were flowing with motion. But then it almost looked like these little spots started to spell like letters. And from the corner of the wall, it wasn't on this side of the wall at all. It wasn't on the ceiling at all. Okay? Nothing on the ceiling. Just straight from the top of the wall all the way down to my mattress. From the corner of the wall, nothing on this side of the wall, all the way down, slowly spreading and getting bigger and getting larger, and almost reached the window. But while there's still like a lot of room between the window and the window and the colors of the spots in the wall that are flowing in motion, I sit up. Okay, I'm seeing letters now. This thing is trying to spell something now. So I sit up, I get more comfortable. I guess I woke Dan up. Dan rolls over and he says, hey, you should probably get some sleep. You have work in the morning. I had to be to work in like 3 or 4 hours. I'm like, yeah, I know. I can't sleep with all these fireflies on the wall. And he's like, what? I said, do you see them too? Because at this point, I don't know if he can see them or not, because nobody saw the tall shadow man that I seen. Nobody heard the tall shadow man, though he was a couple feet away from Lindsay, standing right behind Lindsay, and he projected his voice enough for me to hear past Lindsay, but nobody heard him. Nobody seen him. So I don't know if Dan can even see this or not. So I'm like, do you see them? He rubs his eyes, grabs his glasses, puts his glasses on, looks again, says, yeah. I'm like, cool. Cool. Does it look like they're moving? Does it look like they're like flowing? And there's like a lot. And he's like, yeah. I said, cool. Cool. Does it look like it's spelling something to you? Like, do you see letters? And he says, yeah. I said, can you make out what it's saying? And he's looking and he's watching. He says, no, I don't know. I said, neither do I don't know. I said, but does it look like they're stretching across the wall? Like it was getting close to the window. That window right there, like the lights were getting so close to the window. And he says, yeah, it looks like it's stretching down the wall. I said, okay, you want to do me a favor? He says, anything. Yeah, what's up? I said, you want to turn the light on? I wasn't going to do it. Dan got up and he turned the light on for me. And all the walls were white. Nothing on them. I said, do you see it? He says, no. I said, okay, either do I. said, you want to shut the light back off? He's like, yeah. So he shuts the light back off. Black wall, black wall, black wall, black wall. All 4 walls, just black. Gone. I said, do you see it? He says, no. I said, me either. I said, do me a favor, turn the light back on. We're sleeping with that light on tonight. Turned around, went to sleep, got a couple hours. I think I got like an hour and a half, 2-hour nap in before I had to wake up and go to work. And so, everything was good. Went to work the next day. Came home, was talking to my son, said, hey, how'd you guys sleep last night? How was y'all's night? My oldest son tells me, he says, Mom, I woke up in the middle of the night last night and I saw a man standing in front of me. I rubbed my eyes and I opened my eyes and it was just the lamp. I never forget that. I just felt like a rock in my throat. It like penetrated my core and I was like, oh no, baby, no. You saw a man last night. You saw a man. Like, I saw him too. And that moment, it terrified me. Because it not only did the colorful lights on the wall and spoke to me projecting into his voice, but he showed himself to my child. He woke up my oldest son. I don't know what this thing was. But the fact that he woke up my son and was messing with me the night before, like our first night in this house, it hit me. I said, no, baby. Mm-mm. So I sat both my boys down, both my little soldiers, and I said, listen, you guys had one night in this house, and that's enough. This house isn't safe for you. There's something here. I said, Damien, you saw it. I saw it too. I said, you can't stay here with me.